Welcome back. We are still here at CTRL+ALT at the former space of the Pearl River Mart here in New York City. Welcome to the Nerds of Color Reading Lounge presented by SI Universe. I am your host, Keith Chow, and I'm pleasantly surprised to have my friend Amy Chu joining us in the Reading Lounge. Welcome, Amy.
Hi, thanks. Thanks for having me.
A member of the SI Universe family.
Yes, that's right.
You are
that's
your
right.
first published work.
Yes, I can attribute all my success to you guys publishing me.
It's all me. So everything, Poison Ivy, all of it is because of me.
Yes.
But thank you for being here. We can talk a little bit about the piece that you actually contributed. We're here at CTRL+ALT where we had artists and writers kind of reinterpret iconic comic characters, and you chose to make an Asian American Calvin and Hobbes.
Yes, well, actually, the choice was Louis. I've collaborated with Louis Chin a couple of times now. We did a comic for the Museum of Chinese Americas. We just did something for the Charles B. Wang Health Center, and of course, we've done create our own stuff. And I asked Louis, well, what are some of the things you want to draw? And he was the one who said, well, it'd be cool to do Calvin and Hobbes. I'm like, well, actually, that would be cool, because we could do kind of an Asian American riff on Calvin and Hobbes, which is kind of like the ultimate American comic, right?
Right. And for people who maybe hadn't had a chance to come read the comic, what is the premise of the conversation between, and in this case, his name is Jin.
Right. We of course we couldn't say Calvin and Hobbes, so I just chose I want to say generic Asian American name, but sure. He could be Chinese, he could be Korean. Right. A name like Jin. I just thought it was funny, and also I really liked how Louis made him more of an angry Calvin. So he's like an angry Asian Calvin, and
basically Phil Yu is what you're saying.
Yeah, basically Phil Yu with Hobbes. Yeah, Hobbes is still Hobbes, but Calvin is now. In an Asian American alternate universe, he's now quite an angry kid.
So, I mean, part of the premise too is this idea that Asian Americans are not properly represented in pop culture.
And I can read it out. I mean, it's only 5 panels here, but it's really Calvin, now Jin, walking through Chinatown with Hobbes, just saying, I just don't understand why it's so hard for Hollywood to cast Asian American men as lead characters. And Hobbes is basically like, isn't this 2016? What about Harold and Kumar? And he's going, well, that was 12 years ago. Whatever happened to progress? And basically, I don't want to do this. Should I do
we
the
don't
spoiler?
have to do the spoiler.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a spoiler. You can come up and read it.
Yeah, it involves Steve Yeun. We'll just say that. And but it does kind of speak to this idea, especially in the last few months, with hashtags like whitewashed out and starring John Cho, this idea that Asian Americans are not represented.
This is the big difference between comics and Hollywood. In comics, we can almost cast whoever we want. It's really, there's a lot more freedom. So in Poison Ivy, I just, I put in Asian American characters. I have an Asian American male love-worthy interest, that kind of thing is a lot easier. We have a lot more control in that universe, and so that's why I like writing comics. It's fantastic. I'm doing the same thing, Red Sonja, doing the same thing in Kiss. Right. The only people who stand in between me and that decision is the editor, and frequently the editor has no problem with it.
Right. Well, and I think it's also very important that someone like you is one of the writers, because I think. Yes. Having a woman in color writing in comics is still a very rare occurrence.
Yeah, you know what? I'm finding out is very, very important, because what I'm finding out is in the script that goes to the artist, unless I tell them otherwise, the automatic default assumption is the characters are white.
Yeah, of course.
It's basically, unless I say otherwise, you're going to have a white cast. So I basically have to say, hey, this person's Puerto Rican, this person's black, this person's Asian. You just have to call that out. And if you're not conscious of that as a writer, and you're writing mainstream characters, you're going to get what you get. Yeah. And that's what you see in comics.
And I think, again, your role as a writer makes that very important, because I know, like, Bernard Chang has talked about in the past where he gets a script, and because Bernard is Asian American, he will populate everyone around Superman as people of color.
Right. That's why I love working with Bernard. I did a Wonder Woman story with Bernard.
That's right.
We put in Latinos, we put in everybody. I had the African American combat pilot coming down. It was awesome.
And that's actually in the 75th anniversary
That
book,
is
right?
pick it up. The Wonder Woman 75th anniversary. But mine is just a very small story in that volume, but I'm really, really honored to be in there.
Yeah. So again, it kind of takes it all back. This talk about casting and everything.
I think we're the represented.
Yeah, you're the quota.
We're the quota. We add the diversity at the end of the book.
But this idea of people of color in the creative space, I think, is just as important, if not more important, than the casting. Although casting is important, in all of these stories, they are still written and produced by
Yeah, I mean,
white
there's the controversy around Iron Man right now, right? Riri Williams.
That's right.
Iron Man, yeah,
that's right.
the new Iron Man is a 15-year-old African American girl, written by a white male. I mean, and again, you can get into that. What does that mean? But
right. Yeah, exactly. So, just again, as your experience, and you were fairly new to writing when you came to the comics industry.
I still feel very new.
Well, but everyone knows who you are. You're a big star in the comics industry.
Oh, thank
now.
you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so proud since I launched your career.
Yes, you did.
No, but but as navigating that space, what is it like as a woman of color in that comic space?
Well, you have to hustle. I mean, really, I feel like I'll be honest. I feel like I have to work twice as hard for everything.
Sure.
It's very easy to be intimidated in a lot of situations, but I'm not just straight out of school. I've worked in other fields. I did my stint in Asian American activism. I was at the Asian American Arts Alliance for a while and Asian American Federation. So I come armed with a very strong sense of Asian American identity, coming into a field of comics which has become incredibly diverse in a very short period of time, and I think a lot of that has to do with technology, crowdfunding. I mean, you can't really say Marvel and DC are really the gatekeepers anymore. There's so much more out there. But I felt like, well, I have to to play my part. I could stay in the alt indie area, but if I have the opportunity to write Poison Ivy and write it in a diverse way, I don't think everyone has to represent.
But then that resonates throughout the rest of the culture.
It's an opportunity where I can hopefully make a difference, and hopefully people liked it.
Oh, I think everyone. Who's read Amy's Poison Ivy? Anybody? Yeah. So where that's now out in trade. Where can people?
Yeah, it's out in trade. You can pick it up in any store, Barnes and Noble, Amazon if you still feel like shopping on Amazon. Any comic book store,
shops,
Forbidden Planet. I got to funnel people to Forbidden Planet,
especially if you're here in New York City.
A lot of people are out of Poison Ivy, so I'm feeling pretty good about that. I'm writing Red Sonja, so Red Sonja is going to be hopefully you like Red Sonja because I'm doing a lot there. Nobody's stopping me, so I'm doing it.
Well, Red Sonja has some pedigree. Some of the creators who've done Red Sonja in the past.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Gail
Gail Simone and Margaret Bett. A lot of people have written Red Sonja, and they've already announced it, but this is Red Sonja in Manhattan. This is Red Sonja in the modern day world. So that's where I get to have a lot of leeway.
Looking forward to that.
Yeah, because I'm kind of thinking, okay, where is she going to go and where is she going to slay some people? It's very therapeutic. After the election, I think I'm just going to add an extra layer.
When can we see that? Do you know?
That's coming out mid-December. I want to say December 14th.
Sometime but in December.
And they made a decision. They are selling the first issue for 25 cents. So the pre-orders have already topped 100,000, which is huge in the comic book business. That's huge. Yeah. So that's quite exciting.
So we have Red Sonja to look forward to. Pick up the 75th anniversary of the Wonder Woman trade. Get Poison Ivy. You have Kiss you're working on.
I have Kiss. And hopefully people will be pleasantly surprised by Kiss. It's a science fiction story. And again, I have an opportunity to do a lot with that I think people will enjoy because,
Were you a big fan of Kiss growing up, or? What did you have to do some research?
I had to do a lot of research, honestly. Well, look, come on. I grew up in a very strict Asian American household where we were not allowed to listen to Kiss, but all the cool kids got to listen to Kiss. But I had to listen to classical music at home. So now that I'm an adult where I can rebel, I can write the Kiss comic and put stuff in there. I have a lot of diversity going on in this world, even though it's a science fiction world. And I'm really enjoying that.
That's awesome. You don't really think of Kiss in diversity, so
no,
that's good,
I don't think Kiss even realizes that either.
Maybe we shouldn't put this in the podcast.
Yeah, no. I think they've been reading. Gene Simmons has actually been reading it. I have gotten nothing but positive.
That's awesome.
And here's another interesting thing. Like I said, I think we make a lot of assumptions about Kiss fans. I just did a signing in Maryland. It was the most diverse group I have actually ever been in.
I grew up listening to Kiss.
Yeah, you should be writing.
Yeah, well, hey, if you want to put the good word in, I'm here. So where
can put you in there.
Let's do it. I'm always down to be in a comic book.
Okay, all right.
Where can people find you on social media and on the internet?
It's pretty easy. I'm Amy Chu for pretty much everything except Instagram. I'm Amy_Chu. Some poor other Amy Chu is just had to make her Instagram private. I'm at iWriteComics.com. I'm on Facebook. I Write Comics. I write comics.
And you do write comics well.
Thank you.
So
I
and
try.
awesomely and bigly and everything. So
bigly.
Thank you again for being here, Control-Alt. Thank you for Jen
having
and
us.
Hobbs. Thank you guys for checking us out here in the Reading Lounge. Stay tuned. We're going to be doing some actual readings here in the Reading Lounge in a little bit. So
maybe I'll do some actual writing of
let's
comics.
do some writing while we're reading.
Yeah, because my Red Sonja script is a little late, so I'm going to work
and it's
from
right
it
there.
here. It's right there.
So stay tuned for more from Control-Alt here with the Nerds of Color, and I'll see you next time.
Well, it's the NOC in full color, you see me? The Hard NOC Life, comics, movies, and TV. Yeah, pop culture with a different perspective. Watch it on your screen, hit play, so check this. This is the Hard NOC Life, but not the chica kind. More like the people in the world seeking perspectives with a different line. The kids who share the interest together with a similar kind. When they said Don Glover for Spider-Man, they didn't mind. The activists, directors, comments, and the lectures. Fanboys, professional artists, and professors. Maybe a nerd who's just like you, talking about the things that you like too. So I invite you to the NOC in full color, you see.